Cool.
I see.
Cool. We're live. We're live. We're back. If you were tuned in, I'm sorry you couldn't hear us. We had a good thing. Yeah, but welcome back to another episode of Caps Off by the Game Day. We're going to try this again, all right, because you couldn't hear us. So we're going to reset it. And we're going to reset it with the introduction of Scott Engel. Scott, what did you say quickly? Seahawks fan?
Yes, that's right. I am fired up to be here for my Caps Off debut.
Do it
I
again,
feel
though.
like the Legion of Boom before a game. Who's got your back? I got your
back.
back.
One more time.
Who's got your back? I got your back.
We got the king.
Should I crown him again?
Yeah, put the crown back on. Put the
Back on about 6 times.
For those that do not know Scotty the King, he is a fantasy king. He is the Game Day's expert on all things fantasy football. So make sure to check out his articles on thegameday.com if you're looking for any fantasy advice, fantasy waiver wire tips, anything. Today is obviously Thursday. We're going to talk a lot of fantasy things, but I think a lot of people, when it comes to fantasy episodes, it's kind of looking at the week ahead of like who you should start and who you should sit. These Thursday episodes are going to be nothing like that. These Thursday episodes are going to be dedicated towards buying low, selling high, people to trade for, people to trade away, really looking at the trade market in fantasy based off of the previous week. But before we jump into it, I would like for you to explain, give me one stat that really exemplifies your expertise on fantasy, because they might not know you. So what's one stat?
You're asking me to brag on
Yes, I'm asking you to
Yes.
brag. I'm asking you to talk about why you're the king.
I was humbly inducted into the inaugural class of the Fantasy Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame in 2010, along with Matthew Berry, Eric Carabell, and Greg Kellogg.
Wait a second. Let's backtrack. You're saying that you were inducted to the Fantasy Football Hall of Fame,
Fantasy Sports Writers
Fantasy
Association Hall of Fame.
Sports Writers Hall of Fame, next to Matthew Berry.
Yes.
That's the fucking king. All right. If you're looking at me right now, get to know the man, because everyone knows Matthew Berry. You got to know the king.
Hold up. Anybody that knows anything about fantasy anyways already knows Scott. I actually went to the fantasy football expo, right?
Yeah.
With Scott. And dude, the amount of people that just came up to him and just they treated him like royalty, because he is royalty, the king,
He is royalty.
obviously.
Yeah, that's how.
Talk
that's
about
how it is.
I
autographs.
paid him a lot of money. I'm in a lot of debt right now.
Yeah. Well, hey,
So Scott's that fucking man, so you got to listen.
Scott knows his shit. So we're gonna go through
Thank
a bunch of names: buy low, sell high. We're gonna talk fantasy, then we'll talk Thursday Night Football a little bit. We'll do a little bit of an underdog parlay, last but not least. But before we jump into it, gameday.com/promotions if you do want to bet. And then more specifically on DFS, you could use promo code GameDay if you're betting on underdog. So make sure to tune into that. Let's jump right into it. Fantasy things to discuss. Buy lows. I'm going to name a bunch of players from this previous week, and I just want you to tell me whether you're willing to buy low on them, if you can buy low on them, or if you don't want to touch them at all. Okay? You guys both got that?
Yep.
We're going to start with Josh Jacobs.
I would buy low on Josh Jacobs. You know, he ran into brick walls last week. This week could be kind of dicey for them, because if they fall behind against Buffalo, you know, he could get scripted out.
Negative game
I
script.
might even buy a low on Josh Jacobs after this week.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills stick close, because Jimmy Garoppolo can keep his teams close.
Oh,
but
Jack would be happy with that.
I think they're gonna try game flow wise to like control the ball, keep the Buffalo offense off the field. I don't think it's going to work. I don't know if Jacobs is going to have another good game this week, but I'd wait until after this week to buy low on Josh Jacobs.
What do you think, Felipe?
Yeah, I'm not buying low. You know, I hate that Raiders
Yeah.
offense. I like Jacobs had a great year last year. We talked about it before, I think last episode. Even still, I just don't know if well, first of all, he's not going to repeat what he did last year. But I don't love the upside with Jacobs in any given week. Like, I know he can pop off, but the offense is so it's just not good. It's not pretty.
Not
it's not something
exciting.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think also with fantasy, like you just want players on good offenses. I
Yeah.
don't want anyone on that Raiders, even if it's Devontae Adams. I know he is
Well, you want
Devontae.
Devontae Adams, but
I
as
don't
we
want Devontae
record
Adams.
this, he does have a foot injury, so monitor that.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Another guy, DJ Moore. You buying low? Are you avoiding? What are we doing?
I would buy low on DJ Moore, because the Packers shut him down last week, but this guy was acquired to improve that passing game for Chicago. He was the guy. We saw him have 1,000-yard seasons with some bad quarterbacks
True.
in Carolina. And remember this with a lot of guys, because we can't overreact to week
Right.
one. When a receiver is shut down in 1 week, and he's an alpha like DJ
Like DJ
Moore is the
Moore, yep.
alpha is there, they're going to make a concerted effort to get him the ball early and often in the following game.
I also think you mentioned that the Packers shut him down. I was rewatching some film because I'm an expert when it comes to film analysis, as Felipe knows. That DJ Moore was actually open all the time. Justin Fields missed him like a ton. So it wasn't even that he was shut down. Justin Fields just
Against
completely,
Green Bay?
yeah, just completely avoided.
Scatter shot.
Yeah, Justin Fields had a really bad first game. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he has the rushing upside always, but DJ Moore was open so often. So I think if you're going to look at the box score, you're going to be like, uh-oh, like that's why you'd buy low on DJ Moore. But if you actually look into the film, he was wide open for, chunk plays. So
you watch a lot of film.
only when it applies to people on my fantasy
So
teams.
I'm going to call you Ron Jaworski Jr. then.
Yeah, pretty much. Felipe Fontes Jr.
Look him
I
up if you
prefer.
don't know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Great Philadelphia Eagles quarterback who became like one of the kings of breaking down film.
Well, he's no Scotty the King. But
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, DJ?
Yeah, I'm buying low. I mean, like you said, Justin Fields missed on him a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to get better as an offense. I mean, Justin Fields is raw still, right? Like, I mean, I know he's improving still, but it was week 1. He's watching film just like you're watching film. Did you watch film with him?
It was over Zoom, but the Zoom cut out. So
Got it. So
was
he's watching, so confirmed. He's watching film.
Yeah, he's watching.
So he's gonna know, like they're gonna game plan this dude. They traded for him, like you mentioned, Scott. Like they're looking to get their best players the ball, especially when you have a young quarterback like that. You lean heavily on those guys, and they're gonna lean on DJ Moore going forward
for sure. I got another one. T. Higgins. T. Higgins is a guy. I mean, that whole Bengals offense was bad, right? Like you could put T. Higgins and Jamar Chase there. I don't think anyone's going to trade either one of those two. But would you be willing to buy low on T. Higgins?
Well, people will panic on T. Higgins. Now, these questions all depend on who you're playing with. Like if you're playing with somebody savvy and experienced like Felipe,
oh God,
wait,
I want gas.
He'll
gas me up.
He
He
will hold on to T. Higgins because he knows that he's a proven fantasy wide receiver.
Right.
And like I said just before, when you have a proven wide receiver who's established and he gets shut down the previous week, his quarterback and his offensive coordinator are going to make sure to keep him happy. He's going to get the ball early and often this week. If you could, people will panic on T. Higgins. Like I know people make panic trades. Again, depends on who you play with. I was talking to somebody last night, and he said somebody actually offered me Lamar Jackson for Geno Smith.
That's crazy,
bro. No,
it depends on who you play with. I said, why would somebody do that? He said, A, he's panicky. B, he's a Seahawks fan and he wants to combine him with DK Metcalf. I said, you have to take advantage of that every time. I will tell you something about trades right now. You want to win your league. If you can take advantage of somebody and rip them off,
go off.
Do it.
Rip them the fuck off.
And I hate vetoes, okay? Worry about your own team.
Oh, you want to get into this?
Oh, my God.
Send this to your friends. Vetoing trades in fantasy is not allowed. And I will tell you why. Because at the end of the day, you joined a league with people that hopefully understand how fantasy works. That person is a human being and hopefully above the age of 13 years old. At 14 years old and up, ideally, you could make a somewhat of an educated decision. That is up to you. So just because you don't like the trade, just because you don't like the fact that you were able to, let's bleep this, rape that person in trade. We can't bleep it. I realized he couldn't bleep it. We can't do it. But you know what I'm saying? We can bleep it in social.
He said rate. He said
I
rate.
said rate. Fantasy.
Right.
What's another better word for that in fantasy? Take advantage.
Rip
Take
off.
advantage. Rip them off. Rip them off. Okay. So I hate this idea of vetoing trades because you're just upset.
I agree with that.
You didn't get to rip.
You're
him
upset
off.
that another team got better.
Exactly.
Worry about your
yourself.
own team.
Facts.
Your own
Vetoing
damn
trades
self.
should not be allowed in fantasy. All right. Sorry. Also, if you are tuning in on any of the lives, sorry about the word. Okay. Trigger warning. If you are tuning into the lives, remember, go to thegameday.com and look up all the fantasy articles. We got Scotty the King here, okay? Nice. Inducted into the Fantasy Sports Writers Hall of Fame with Matthew Berry. So we got a legend here with us today. We're talking fantasy. He's also a game day expert. I see all your comments. We will get to comments at the end of the show. So make sure to drop any of your comments, asking questions if it's about fantasy trades, buy low, sell high, any of those things.
I love taking questions.
Yeah, me too.
People got trade questions. I love doing
Also, we're going to be, as I've said, we're going to be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. Fantasy episodes, answering questions, trying to help you win your league. Today's episode, Thursday episodes, will always be about buying low and selling high. A lot more geared towards trades. So that's what we'll be doing.
If we don't get to your question on
Twitter.
the show, at Scotty the King. I'll answer everything.
On
That's a
Twitter. On
fact.
Twitter. You can follow all of
X.
us on Twitter, yeah, because you have too
On
many
X,
followers.
Adam?
No, Twitter.
Bro, you're so fucking archaic,
I think actually
bro.
I've been saying Twitter this whole time.
Yeah.
As we've like even in the previous episodes.
Come
All
on
right,
now.
let's jump more into. I got a weird one. Kadarius Toney.
Oh, I'm buying low.
He's not really a trade target. One of my leagues last night,
He's on
he
the
actually
waiver
got
wire.
cut.
Yeah, he's on the waiver
You
wire.
know,
on
That's
one of mine.
crazy.
If you actually want to make a trade for Tony, though, you won't have to give up much for him. But there's already stories out there about how he's trying to make amends for last week. I'm throwing Kadarius Toney in a flex this week because he's going to bounce back.
Thanks.
This is why the Chiefs traded for him. He's a big play guy. There were a lot of reports that he was just rusty and maybe came back too fast after having that knee injury in the preseason. Even more than the trade, always watch your free agent list. Look at who people cut and they're reactionary about in week 1. Kadarius Toney gets cut, pick him up.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, come on, you're playing with one of the best quarterbacks in the game. We saw what he did last year. I mean, obviously he got traded mid-season, went to the Chiefs, and they knew how to utilize him. Andy Reid knows how to utilize his guys, his top targets. And Kadarius Toney's the most talented receiver on that team, right? Would you say so?
I would think so. Rasheed Rice is a nice stash, though.
Yeah.
For those who've been watching football more than a decade, though, Kadarius Toney is the new Percy Harvin. Explosive when he's on the field, and unfortunately,
Are you not concerned with the
not
injuries
durable.
though?
He's not durable.
So
I will throw a name out there, and only some of the more seasoned older viewers go ask your dad about Chris Dolman, the NFL Hall of Famer.
Nope.
I
no
used to
clue
do
who that
the
is.
late great Chris Dolman, Hall of Fame defensive end for the Vikings and the Falcons and the 49ers. I worked with Chris Dolman. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, Scott, some players are just more durable than others. It's in their DNA. The NFL is a violent game, and anybody can get hurt at any time. But just unfortunately, some players are more susceptible to injuries than others. I don't want to offend the injury experts on X by saying injury prone because that makes them react.
Well, all I'm hearing is Kadarius Toney is not one of those guys that are more durable to injuries.
Unfortunately, yes. And I don't root for anybody to get hurt ever.
Not. Of course
It's like, I'm not like a Philadelphia Eagles fan who
Yeah,
cheers
fuck
when one
them.
of the Cowboys get hurt. I don't want to see anybody get injured.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
But we're putting Toney in the flex this week.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know.
Look,
I'm not.
Hey,
Yeah.
one league I got a choice between Kadarius Toney, Calvin Austin, Zach
How many people
Charbonnet,
are
and
35
Juwan
teams?
Johnson.
Yeah, I was gonna say how many people are in that league.
It's a 14-team high stakes NFFC league.
wow.
What does NFFT mean?
National Fantasy Football Championships.
Oh Lord.
Like two of the biggest high stakes.
So people know their
competitions in the
shit. That's
country
everyone.
Are NFFC and the Fantasy Football Players Championship, the FFPC. There are other variations. These are like the biggest sharks in the game.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. So
two sharks.
everyone's gone. Everyone is gone.
I got
a little-
Puka Nacua in the 18th round of that draft.
Wait, you drafted Puka Nacua?
In the 18th round of 2 drafts.
Let's fucking go. That's why you listen to this man, bro. He was early. You thought Adam was early because he said Puka last week. He got Puka like 75 months ago.
Crazy. Another one, Travis Kelce. Obviously,
What is playing this week?
I think he will, but
He's trending towards playing.
I'll rephrase it because I think anyone would want to buy low on Kelce. What would you have to give up to get Travis Kelce coming off that injury?
I think you would have to give up at least a decent top 7 tight end and throw in another notable player.
Does Darren
Like,
Waller get
If you're
you the top
talking to
7 tight
me
end?
and
though?
you want Travis Kelce off of me, first off, I'm going to say no, but what's the offer? If you're throwing at me Jamar Chase and TJ Hawkinson, maybe I'll listen.
Wow. You said Jamar Chase and TJ Hawkins?
I mean, yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. I would
Jesus
take the Jamar
Christ,
TJ
give me
side.
that.
You could get
Give
rid
me
of
that.
you could get Jamar Chase this week and buy low on him after the game he had in week 1.
He's gonna pop
Is
off.
he bouncing back against the Ravens?
Wait. We'll
Jamar
get
Chase?
to it later. Later
Oh
in this
my
episode.
God. Scott's got me going.
Later
bro.
in this episode, we are going to talk bounce backs. There are a lot of people that were down in this week, so
Goodness.
we're definitely going to talk back.
I don't think Zach
talk on
Wilson's
bounce
bouncing
backs.
back.
No, Zach
Yeah,
Wilson
I
is
know.
never bouncing back. He's
I'm
just
sorry, Gio.
down. He's bouncing out. Another guy I have is Cooper Kupp, and I have some thoughts on Cooper Kupp, so I'm curious to know yours.
No. Don't want to mess with it. Didn't draft him in any leagues.
What about
We don't
people
know
that got
when
him
he's coming back. I don't want to take on somebody else's problem.
because the upside in a potential 8 games towards the back half of the season could be.
And then I got
high
a
at wide
hole in my
receiver.
lineup for how many weeks?
Well, you hopefully are Hopefully, you could get Cooper Kupp for the low. Is the
If you
point.
want to
This is
take
buy low.
Kadarius Toney for me for Cooper Kupp, I'll do it, but I'm not giving you anything of significance for Cooper Kupp.
So I got Cooper Kupp in. This is before he went on IR, and we said on the first episode I was hoping he'd actually go on IR because I think the Rams are going to be more competitive. As we saw, they beat your team, the Seahawks. I'm sorry, but
why are you taking shots?
I'm just they're just facts.
They are facts.
They
did happen.
It's not a shot.
It did
if
happen.
You know, we're speaking like you just said. Tua's the best quarterback in the NFL off the air. Like these are facts. That
1973 Miami Dolphins. Fact.
Yep.
Last time they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
These are facts. You're correct. That is a fact.
Yes.
But with Cooper Kupp before,
That's
I
coming.
wanted him to go on IR, and I got him in the mid-second. Right. I had Stephon Diggs. There was not really anyone that I liked there. Like looking at a Garrett Wilson versus Cooper Kupp situation, I'd rather take the gamble on Cooper Kupp right now.
You trade Garrett Wilson?
No. I'm saying if I had one or the other, which was the two, because Garrett Wilson wasn't available.
When you were drafting.
When I was drafting, yes, I took Cooper Kupp.
I would have taken Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, when he had Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers right now. So right now, I feel comfortable trading for Cooper Kupp. Now I'm not giving up much, but I think with Cooper Kupp, if the Rams can be competitive, he may not come back in week 4 or week 5, whatever it is. But if he comes back in week 7, if I can get 8 games, if I could stay at like 500 and get 8 games out of Cooper Kupp to be even a low end wide receiver one where he was drafted, that's a success.
You're right. It depends on what you're giving up, but I don't want any part of it because it has nothing to do with it.
Because you got your ass
First rule: never draft with your heart. Fantasy football, I never ever do it. Play fantasy baseball.
Facts.
People send me trade offers just because they have Mets on there. I said, don't insult me. Okay, don't do
Don't
that.
man.
I don't draft.
He's
with
in the
my-
Hall of
my
Fame,
heart.
bro.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Stop insulting this man.
Cooper Kupp, I don't want to take on that problem, and I'm going to have to give up something of significance to get that problem. If you want Jonathan Taylor for me for Cooper Kupp, let's do it.
So you'd rather Jonathan Taylor over
Because
Cooper
I
Kupp?
don't know when he's coming back either.
We talked about this before. I think Jonathan Taylor does play week 5 or 6. I think he does.
Right, and maybe Cooper Kupp does too. So fair deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'd rather Jonathan Taylor over Cooper
But
Kupp?
I'm not giving you anybody that's playing right now.
Okay.
I'm not giving you AJ Brown for Cooper
Oh
Kupp.
no,
He's not risking winning right now.
No, I'm not doing that either.
I'm not even giving you Kenneth Walker for Cooper Kupp.
Oh,
It depends.
I like
Do you have other
Walker,
running
but
backs?
He's an RB2.
Well,
It
can you
all
name
depends
another
on
running back
contact.
that's not a Seahawk?
Of course I can.
No, I'm saying that you're gonna
Salvin Ahmed.
You do
stash him.
well. I wouldn't do Salvin Ahmed over Cooper.
Yeah.
I'll take
No,
Salvin Ahmed.
but-
turned to me this week.
Deep stash. Okay.
You heard it?
Raheem Mostert can't stay healthy. Jeff Wilson can't stay healthy. Devon Chain is 5'8", 188.
Hey,
Salvin
short
Ahmed
things.
might start for the Miami Dolphins at some point if they don't make a trade.
Hey, he told me to start him this past week. He got me 1.1 points. So it's pretty fire.
And he dropped Josh Kelly for him.
We didn't know that, Kelly was.
See,
gonna
that's what
become
I'm
he
saying. I
became,
didn't.
though.
Me and the King are aligned. We got the same brain.
He's in the Hall of Fame. It's all
I
good.
don't mind buying low on Cooper Kupp. I don't mind buying low on him. It depends
I'm
what you got
not,
to
I'm
give
not
up.
giving you up
but
anything of significance that
let me ask you. Then I got one. I got
right
one.
now. Like if you're looking for, at one of my top 14 running backs, I'm not giving you Jahmyr Gibbs for Cooper Kupp right now.
Yeah, me neither. What if and I'm not saying this is gonna happen. What if someone was like George Pickens and someone else? Would you do it?
George Pickens doesn't move the needle. I'd rather keep Kupp. Depends on what the someone else is, but
John, I'm just trying to think of like a potential trade package. Like if someone had Cooper Kupp,
Jonathan Taylor, I felt was the perfect because we don't know when he's coming back.
I got
Or maybe Terry
Yeah, me too,
McLaurin,
in 1
he
week.
can bounce back. But the thing with trades is, though, there are 2 goals with trades. And I said this to you this morning in the office. You have to fill a need or make a significant upgrade. That's what you got to remember when doing trades. Because people do wash trades all the time. Like, who do you prefer between these 2 guys and they play the same position?
Right. We're gonna do a few more buy lows and then we'll answer some questions. Jahmyr Gibbs, you buying low on him?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That kid is exexplosive.
He looked like the better running
I
back
will
too.
go back a
Of
little
course.
bit in NFL history.
Oh, here we go.
He reminds me of Jamal Charles.
He reminds me of Jim Thorpe. I'm fucking with you. Shout out.
Leather helmets. Wow.
Go ahead. To talk about it, Jamal Charles. I mean, I see it. I see that the receiving back, the guy who can kind of do it all, utilize.
Efficient. The way he slashes and everything, it makes people.
Obviously, a lot of people were concerned with the usage and David Montgomery taking a lot of those carries. Obviously, you're not concerned. Why should people not be concerned on Jahmyr Gibbs?
Because Jamal Charles was efficient. He made the most of every touch. running backs, that doesn't always have to be about volume. If you can make the most of every touch, especially when you have upside like Jahmyr Gibbs, there's upside. I would definitely buy low on Jahmyr Gibbs if anybody panicked after week
What are
1.
you giving up for him? Like, what is a fair deal that you think makes sense for Jahmyr Gibbs right now?
If you wanted to say trade me like a top 20 wide receiver for Jahmyr Gibbs, I think that'd be fair.
I'm not saying this is how it would go, but Brandon Ayuk
Like T. Higgins
and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, T. Higgins you can't because he didn't do nothing in the first week. But my mind immediately like went to T. Higgins.
Brandon Ayuk?
Brandon Ayuk for Jahmyr Gibbs. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna send that offer out. Check it out.
You're saying you have Ayuk?
If you're deep,
I have
if you're
Ayuk.
deep at wide receiver, yeah.
I'm pretty deep. I actually have Brandon Ayuk in a 2-flex league on my bench right now.
Like I wouldn't trade Chris Olave for him.
No. Well, I would rather Chris Olave than Jahmyr Gibbs.
But like, okay, so what we saw from week 1, everybody wished he got more touches, and we assume he's gonna get more touches. That was his first game, rookie, everything like that. But was that the floor of what we saw? Is the floor gonna get higher? I feel like that's what we can hope for.
I think the floor is definitely higher for Jahmyr Gibbs.
It has to.
He's just so talented. Like Garrett Wilson for Jahmyr Gibbs would be like an interesting trade.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Ooh. Which
Well, yeah, after the Rodgers injury, yeah.
Yeah.
which side would you rather?
I'd slightly rather be on Garrett Wilson. I mean, look at the numbers he put up last year.
Even with terrible quarterback play.
They're gonna have to throw. They're gonna have to throw, and you're hoping that Zach Wilson is a better Zach Wilson than last year.
Or Keenan Allen for Jahmyr Gibbs. That's fair.
Yeah, that's tough.
I
That's
like
a
Gibbs'
tough one.
upside, man.
I like Gibbs' upside too in a PPR league, but I'm Keenan Allen also. Like, if that touchdown doesn't get called back, I mean, he had a fantastic game. He was peppered with targets. Like,
Well, sometimes those get called back because they're not really touchdowns because the penalty. Helped
he was down at the one.
play.
He was down at the one.
Yeah,
It was one of those. I got 2 more for you. Then we'll answer some questions. Rashad White.
I would buy low on him. I believe he had a 79% snap share last week,
Which was
He
the
is
highest
ticketed
outside of
for
like
a
CMC or something.
ton of volume, and they can't lean on Mayfield all the time.
Mhm.
So he's versatile. He catches passes out of the.
Why are you hating on
backfield.
Baker Mayfield?
Want me to say something good about him? He's the highest profile
He's from
journeyman in
Texas.
the NFL.
He's from Texas. First off, you can't speak bad about anybody from Texas.
That's true.
Okay.
There's
right.
parameters here. There's parameters.
So
here.
be
Besides
cool
that,
with Baker.
Baker, has worn about 19 uniforms already. So.
Yeah, I think this is the time. The Bucks are going to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years.
oh my
No,
god.
I'm just kidding. He's
Okay.
Not. They're not.
Last but not least,
If
Michael
he's
Pitt-
talking basketball, I agree with you.
last but not least, Michael Pittman. What are your thoughts on Michael Pittman? He had a
Michael
massive
Pittman
game.
is so damn underrated.
Oh wow. Congo
So
would like
damn
to hear that.
underrated. Last week, we do fantasy spaces on the Game Days Twitter account every Sunday. Myself, Sam
Tune into
Wagner, and Frank Amarante. And nobody was with me on Michael Pittman. I said, last time that guy faced the Jaguars, 13 carries for 134 yards, had another big game. He's an alpha on a team with a rookie quarterback. The guy is big. He's tall. Throw anything within his vicinity. Anthony Richardson's going to be an erratic passer, but this guy's got a huge wingspan. He can pluck anything out of the air if you throw him in his vicinity.
So if Michael Pittman has a down week this week, I don't even know who Indianapolis is playing. Is that one of your main targets to try and go
I
trade
believe
for?
Indianapolis playing Houston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's gonna have a good game.
He should have a good game, but if he doesn't, I'd buy low on him.
Actually, the two.
I mean, you're not going to buy. I mean, he had a good week 1 though, didn't he?
I know. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
people
I'm
still
hoping-
aren't sold on
Yeah,
Michael
that's
Pittman.
my point.
Yeah.
I also like the Houston DBs are underrated. I don't even know their fucking names, but 2 of them were their 2 DBs were in the top 10 on PFF.
Yeah,
week one.
Hey, it's Cowboys too.
D'Amico Ryans.
if they have one strength on defense, it's the secondary, but I just like Pittman. You saw the yardage after the catch last week too, and he does that too.
I mean, he's an athlete. Yeah, he's got
Michael
the traits.
Pittman Jr. is underrated. Like I always hear about how underrated Tyler Lockett is. Like Michael Pittman Jr. is underrated.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm just worried about Anthony Richardson. Like, obviously he was throwing him the ball and he had a good week 1 and he scored on that screen pass, but I am also not sold on having Michael Pittman on my team.
Yeah, but Anthony Richardson, is going to complete enough passes and go to his alpha enough where he's going to make plays for him.
Water Knight said, should I trade Calvin Ridley for DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, and DeAndre Swift?
You're going to offer that?
He just said, should I trade Calvin Ridley for DJ Moore?
If it's on the table,
You accept.
you take it. But if you're saying, should I offer it? You're
No.
not. I don't
not
think
gi-
that's going to be accepted. You're not giving
That's
up because
insane.
Yeah,
Swift
that's
is
crazy.
ticketed to start tonight.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
crazy one. But I also don't trust DeAndre Swift. Like,
But that doesn't matter. It's,
It's
still
just
with the,
ancillary.
with
Yeah,
the
it's
other
just
two
added
guys
bonus.
you
It's
got.
added-
That's just not even fair.
Yeah, it's added bonus.
Nothing wrong
Backseat
with keeping Calvin Ridley.
Oh, Ridley's nice.
Backseat Huddle said this is the only guy on earth who knows who Puka Nacua is. Actually, there's 2 people that know who Puka Nacua is. 1 and 2, but now it's 3. He's making everyone a believer. Last, another YouTube question. Mako J37. Should I start Drake London, Brian Robinson, Romeo Dobbs, Zay Jones? Which one are you doing?
I don't like Trey London.
I
London
don't
against
think
that
he's startable.
secondary. I don't like Brian Robinson's matchup either. Zay Jones, I feel like there's going to be a Christian Kirk week. Like you can't trust him.
So where are you going?
I
Say it.
I would
Say
have
it.
to go with London based on
What?
the fact
Oh.
that he was shut down last week, and they're going to want to get him the ball this week.
And
No
Desmond
Romeo?
Ritter had like an 87%
No Romeo?
completion
Oh,
percentage.
Romeo, my Romeo?
Romeo's got a hamstring problem. He
But
did
played.
score
He
twice.
scored twice. If
He did
Christian
score-
Watson doesn't play, do you start Romeo Dobbs?
Christian Watson may not play again, but I'm still. I just feel like with receivers, when they get shut down in their alphas, and Drake London's an alpha, the following week that quarterback's going to get them the ball.
I guess. I don't feel comfortable. I agree with the logic. Drake London, this has happened so many times in that offense. That's Arthur Smith hates weapons. He hates having fun. He hates fantasy. That's why he's giving Tyler Algier fucking goal line carries and not Bijan Robinson,
True.
the fucking 8th pick overall. It's nonsense. I don't trust Drake London yet. I'm starting fucking Romeo Dobbs.
I'm not against it. So
If he's
break
healthy?
the tie.
I'm starting Dobbs.
Okay,
I just don't
Because I don't like
trust
the other
it.
guys.
I'm okay with it.
I
All
also
these-
the Falcons offense is just so. You saw a picture of Kyle Pitts wide open, like asking for the
Yeah.
ball, and like Ritter wouldn't even look at him.
Hey, he did
I'm like, what's
tweet.
good? I know it's it's
You
it's
talk about watching film, though. They're going to watch the film.
That's true.
And because if you think, all right, if you think that they're going to look like they did last week and you watch the film, what is the offensive coordinator thinking? He's thinking, I gotta change things up, use play action. And that's how I think London's going to bounce back this week, but I'm fine with using Romeo Dobbs.
You know what they're going to do for Drake London? They're going to manufacture touches. We talked
There we
about it
go.
yesterday.
at the factory.
Zay Flowers, the fact that J.K. Dobbins is now out, I think they manufacture more touches for him. So Drake London's a guy that's going to get touches manufactured for him. We're gonna get him
So
the
I
ball.
like him, but I like Dobbs too. But I
But-
know you're a Romeo Dobbs truth.
Oh, Romeo, my
If
Romeo.
Romeo Dobbs got traded to the Miami Dolphins,
For Tyreek, for sure.
yeah,
100%.
you do that. You would do that.
Say less.
Yeah.
I want to move into now doing sell highs, right? So some of these players I have on this list are not necessarily guys I would actually want to sell, but what would it take to entertain an offer for
Yeah.
them is really kind of what I want to get into. So who are some players that you would be willing to sell high on, and what would it take to get them? So let's start with the biggest fish in the entire pond,
I see
Tyreek
what he
Hill.
did there.
You like that one? That was good.
I don't
right?
want to trade Tyreek Hill.
Okay, but what would it
but-
take?
If you offer me, say, Jamar Chase
Oh my God.
and
Yes.
Mark Andrews, I'd think about
No
it.
shit. Well, I would take that. I would take that.
I'd think about it.
I would take that.
Let me tell you something. If you're getting offers for Tyreek Hill, that's a message that's a guy you should keep. When you
That's
keep
true.
getting offers for somebody, and here's the thing, and I was talking about Gio with this. Fantasy baseball is not Major League Baseball, okay? You don't stack 3 guys for 1 guy when you make a trade offer. That's not how you get it done, okay? Because we're not sticking somebody in the minor leagues and waiting for him. Quantity for quality trades, usually 75% of the time, they're warped.
So Jamar and Mark Andrews, I want that side. I prefer that side.
That's something I would strongly think about.
What about you? What do you? If you had Tyreek, would you be willing to give him up, or would you
It's hard.
entertain offers? Because the way
It's
I look
hard.
at it is, it's not that I would want to trade Tyreek, but if I have holes on my team, I think Tyreek is probably the most valuable person in fantasy right now. Like I think that after
he's one
week
of the
one,
guys, yeah.
week one, I think everyone like if you think of one player in fantasy that like it might be the sexiest, it might be Tyreek Hill right now. So I'm not saying that I would want to trade him, but I do think someone could send the fucking farm for Tyreek Hill. And if you have deficiencies elsewhere, you might be able to fill that hole. Now, I
Yeah.
don't want to trade Tyreek, but I think, and I said this to you
If you
off
offer me
camera,
Jalen
everyone
Hurts
should
and
be-
Saquon Barkley, I'd think about it.
that's actually an interesting
Yeah.
one.
They're both coming off down weeks.
I would take that.
Yeah.
If I still have if my wide receiver 2 is like a Calvin Ridley, I'm taking that.
Yeah, Saquon's going to go off this week.
Okay. I don't have him on the sell high list, but Brandon Ayuk, we talked about him a little bit. Are you willing to sell him high? Do you want to keep him?
I want to keep him because there's a perception that Debo Samuel's still there, George Kittle's there, etc. I don't know if people are believing in it after 1 week. I don't think. Now, look, every league is different. Everybody thinks differently, but I think in a lot of cases you won't get the right return for Brandon Ayuk and what he's capable of doing this whole season.
And is that because of the name value attached to Brandon Ayuk?
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think he has enough name value yet.
Right.
Yeah,
But
especially
I think
that
he'll
offense.
keep producing like this.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think Brandon Ayuk is the number one target there outside of CMC. Debo is the sexy player. He's like that Lamborghini. But Brandon Ayuk, I mean, it's going to get you from point A to point B. It's an M6, right? Can still go fast, compete in a race. BMW, efficient, but it's not the Lamborghini. Okay? It might break down or something.
What you like about Ayuk, though, is that connection he showed with Purdy. Like,
yeah.
We really got to see it. I mean, but at the end of last year, George Kittle had a great run, right, with Purdy. I don't know. Like, it depends. If people are valuing him super high, like, according to Scott, like, they probably aren't still at the highest level, so maybe you're holding on to him, but depends what you can get back. I mean, that's what it always depends on, right?
That's the thing you got to watch, too. It's like one guy receiver will go off 1 week, and then
another
the next
one.
guy will go off. This could be a Debo or Kittle week.
Right.
And then maybe you buy on Ayuk.
Sure. What about the Jets skill players? Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Dalvin Cook. You selling high based off of where you got them?
I would sell on Brees Hall because they're playing the Dallas Cowboys this week.
That's
That's going to be brick walls. Okay. And let me tell you, I was telling my friend Felipe here, the defensive coordinator of these Super Bowl Seahawks was Dan Quinn. And he had that defense looking like the Legion of Boom.
Hey, Scott, do it again. What's that
Who's got your back?
I got your back. One more time. Who's got your back? I got your back. Yep. That's Legion of Boom.
So anyway, he had him looking like the Legion of Boom. I know, DJ Reed, you want the Jets defense to look like Legion of Boom? That defense looked like the Legion of Boom. And Brees Hall, I don't like him this week. I think he'll have some good games because that was an amazing recovery from the ACL. He looked like Adrian Peterson coming off a knee injury.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great.
You know, a lot of defenses are going to load up against the run against the Jets.
Yeah, come on. You're playing Zach Wilson.
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
So are you selling Brees? Are you trying to sell Brees?
No. I see what he's saying for this week, but for the rest of the season, Brees is going to have a great – he's going to have a great
think
year.
he's going to have his – it could be boom or bust the rest of the year.
Really?
I think I agree. Where would you put him right now? The RB2 tier, low end, high end?
RB2, and for this week, I have him ranked 20 at running back.
So he's kind of a low end RB2.
Yeah, check out our rankings at thegameday.com.
But this is the lowest he's going to be. Like, he's not going to face – I don't know who else they play. Do they play like San Francisco? I don't know. Yeah. They play the Eagles.
Schedule,
They have a tough schedule.
So, but anyways, this is one of the toughest defenses going to play. So this is a tough week for Brees Hall. Even if he is a flex for you this week, that's fine. He's only going to be better after that, in my opinion. I like him.
The Jets
now,
schedule.
If other people look, there might be a Jets fan on you in your league, and they're going to want to trade everything for Brees Hall. You take that.
The Jets schedule coming up goes Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles.
That's tough.
That's a tough.
Tough. Denver
tough.
can be tough against the run too.
Okay,
so
you're selling Brees Hall though.
Yeah, I would
holding on Garrett
it.
Wilson is what.
Find the Jets fan in your league.
Yeah,
they're gonna want him.
You're holding Garrett Wilson.
I'm holding Garrett Wilson. Look what. I'm not saying I won't trade him.
Yeah,
but if I don't, I'll keep him. I have him in one of my dynasty leagues. I'm not looking to move him.
Do you?
That's different.
Yeah,
you got to hold. Do you bump him down? He's a wide receiver 2 now, low end, high end.
He's still
a wide receiver 1. Interesting.
Is he though?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if he is.
Here's the thing.
Why?
I don't think people are buying high with
volume.
Rodgers. Without Rodgers, I don't think people are going to buy at his value. Like,
you're not going to get the proper return without Rodgers. But sometimes really good receivers play well with mediocre or bad quarterbacks. Because even the worst quarterbacks got to complete passes to somebody.
I get that. I got one more person for you for sell high. It's David Montgomery.
Nah, you can't sell high on him. He's not a sell high candidate.
What about Austin
Eckler?
Touchdown,
74 yards. That's not a sell high guy. Everybody loves Jahmyr Gibbs.
Austin Eckler?
Austin Eckler's hurt right now. You can't sell on him.
You might be able to. You might be able to.
You're not going to get proper return for an injured guy.
Fair. Okay.
Even if it's a 1 week injury, because people worry so much about injuries. You know, sometimes guys will have limited practice and be like, "Oh, is he not going to play?" You know.
All right. Well, That was a little bit of a sell high type of thing. Remember to go to thegameday.com to see fantasy rankings, right? When does that come out? Every week.
That comes out early in the week. My sleepers and my bus for week 2 are already up. I'm working on my prop bets for today too.
Love it. As a
yeah.
reminder, this is Scotty the King, Fantasy Football Hall of Fame inductee next to Matthew Berry. So we're talking fantasy, we're talking trades, buy lows, sell highs. Also, if you want to get in on the game with Underdog, make sure to go to thegameday.com/promotions, sign up at Underdog, and use promo code GameDay to get in on that. I got 2 more different things to talk about with you guys. And the first one's pretty quick. So obviously the biggest ad after week 2 was Puka Nacua, or after week 1 was Puka Nacua. If you had a crystal ball and you wanted everyone to get ahead of it, who will be the number 1 ad next week?
How about 2 weeks from now?
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Jalen Hyatt of the New York Giants.
Hell no.
Stash him.
Nah, you're good. I'm good.
Yes.
Nah, I'll pass on that, Scott.
Why? Hold on. Why are
I'll
we
pass
stashing
on
Jalen Hyatt?
They tried to improve the Giants offense during the offseason. Stash the kid now. I draft him. I'm in 18 leagues. I probably have been 16 of my leagues.
Damn.
The one missing element from the Giants offense is an explosive player, downfield threat who can take the top off of the defense. The only guy in the roster that can do that is Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, but Daniel
NFL
can't get him the
scouts
ball.
compared him to Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, that's gross.
At some point, the Giants are going to realize we need to get this kid on the field. We
No.
can't be dependent on
No.
Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell, etc. Jalen Hyatt is going to blow up at some point this season. Book it.
I'm not booking it.
Why?
That's the New York bias right there.
Why?
All right, first off,
You're from New York. That's all I'm saying.
First off, I'm not a Giant fan.
I
I'm
know
a
you're
Seahawks
not.
fan.
I
I'm a
know.
Mets
I
fan
know.
and a Knicks fan otherwise. I never have any bias. I love the kid.
Why are
His
you? Why?
You're biased because
His stats
he's a
at
Giant.
Tennessee. His stats at Tennessee.
If he was on Dallas, you'd love him.
Like, I know he won the Bolitnikov, right? I'm pretty sure last
Yeah,
year. His stats were pretty bad against zone, against man, like advanced analytics. Like, he couldn't. He was a product of that Tennessee offense. Now, I know the Giants.
Not from what I saw during the preseason.
Okay, that's different. He did his
Yeah.
thing in the preseason against some second and third teams or whatever. Okay, cool. I don't love. I don't love him. Here's what I do love though, and I know you're gonna hate it because he's in your division. But Kendrick Bourne had a good week last week. This isn't so much about Kendrick Bourne. This is more about Mac Jones. Mac Jones looked good last week, and they're gonna need a number 1 guy. They're gonna need a guy to go to consistently. Now we're talking about this week. I'm not talking about 2-3 weeks. I know he's talking about 2-3 weeks with Hyatt, but this week they're playing the Miami Dolphins. 23rd against receivers, not great.
It's been 1 week.
Last year?
This past week.
That's just 1
It's
week.
been 1
I don't
week.
care. Kendrick Bourne is going to
Josh
be that
Allen
guy.
is like
Mac Jones is going to
27th.
dice up.
Josh Allen is 27th.
Mac Jones is going to
quarterbacks.
dice
Like,
up the Dolphins. The Patriots are going to beat them by probably like 7-10. And Kendrick Bourne is going to score 2 touchdowns.
Kendrick Bourne is a jack. He's just a guy. That might be the best game he had all season. I'll give you
he's gonna
somebody
go.
for this week. Calvin Austin, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
You
had
like
not
him
that
over
game.
Allen Robinson?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, come on. We've seen Allen.
But his Allen Robinson's best game as a Ram had 1 less yard than what he had in week 1.
What do you have in week 1?
I think like 60-something yards.
Hey,
That,
nice.
that might be his season high. It's just Allen Robinson. I don't want to disrespect Allen Robinson. Calvin Austin, I think, is going to take advantage of that opportunity. He's somebody that the Steelers like a lot internally. Showed some flashes last week. Somebody's got to step into that passing game. George Pickens is not a true number 1. Somebody's going to have to step forward. I think it's going to be Calvin Austin.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Quickly, I'm both going to ask you this question. I want you to name 1 player. Which player do you think is poised for the biggest bounce back in week 2?
T. Higgins.
Shit. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Don't say Brandon Cooks. He's injured.
I mean, you could go to the other side of the field. I mean,
I
like
could.
I would go Jamar Chase.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I was thinking that, but now that's kind of boring.
Yeah, it is boring, but
I'm going to take one of the quarterbacks that shot the bed.
go with Lamar.
Why you have to take my pick?
'Cause
All
I
right, now
know-
I'm going with another quarterback.
I
that
know
shot
what you're
the bed.
thinking. I know what you're thinking.
Who do the Bills play this week?
The
Raiders.
Bills play the Raiders.
Josh Allen.
I like Gabe Davis.
Ooh, Gabe Davis. Okay, that's a good one. Last segment, real quick. You want to pull out your underdog parlay? You cooked up an underdog parlay.
Yeah, I did it
for
last
us.
second, right before we got on.
You went to
so-
underdog, used code GameDay, right, as the promo code to sign up. You get $100 deposit
Nice.
I believe is what it is. You can get up to $100 first deposit match with Underdog if you use promo code Game Day. So make sure to do that. Felipe did that. Felipe, what is the Underdog parlay that you're riding with this week?
Tell me if you guys like this. All right, it's 5 picks. Josh Allen higher than 254.5 passing yards.
Yes.
I like that.
I
The
like it.
Raiders had the second worst pass defense in the NFL in the AFC last year. They didn't get exposed in week 1. They will get exposed in week 2. By the way, Josh Allen also 22 touchdown passes at home last year, the most among AFC quarterbacks.
I love that.
I like it.
And he's got to bounce back. There's all that hate going his way now after the interceptions and stuff like that.
I think he's gonna have a crazy game. I think he's gonna have a great. Who do you got next?
Number 2, going to the defensive side of the ball. Roquan Smith. He had 19 tackles last week. 19. All right. Higher than 9 tackles and assists. Come on.
Easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Come on.
That's a great one.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Against the Bengals.
like
Come
that.
on.
Wow.
Divisional game,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to get his.
An IDP parlay. How about that? I
Like that? All right. Here we go. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I talked to you a little bit about this one beforehand. They're playing the Seahawks. The Lions are higher than 77.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm in on that. You know, he works out of the slot. The way to beat the Seahawks defense is over the middle of the field. I
Take it from a Seahawks fan.
Going to be Devin Witherspoon's first game, I think. So, and if they don't get enough of a pass rush again this week, Jared Goff is just money at home. And remember this fantasy-wise.
Cash money.
23 of his 29 touchdown passes last year came in home games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he's ass on the road.
Yes. The splits were crazy. I'm
trying to be
Who else you got? Who else you got?
So this one I picked because he fucking sucks, right? No, I'm a nice guy, but I actually didn't consider the defense he was playing. But Daniel Jones, 207.5 passing yards.
I like it.
Lower.
Oh.
Against the Cardinals.
I can see that. You know
You
why?
can see
Because
lower?
even though the Giants are going to win this game, he could take off and run.
That's
for
true.
a lot.
That's true. That's
There
true.
are other ways. This could be a Barkley game more than it's. I like Daniel Jones as like a fantasy quarterback streamer this week, but you know, there's a Barkley game.
All right.
All
What else
right,
you got?
last pick. Going on that Patriots Dolphins game because I love it. Mac Jones under half interception. So just,
He doesn't
he's
throw
not
any-
going to throw an interception.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You lost me with that. You lost me with the last 2 as much. I liked the first 2, but
Is Mac Jones throwing an interception?
I
Against
think
the
he'll throw
Dolphins?
one this week.
All right. That's why I
Yeah.
lose then.
is the parlay hitting? Yes or no?
No.
Oh. All right.
Sorry.
Well, hey,
Sorry.
make sure to
I
go
hope
to
it does.
Make sure to go to thegameday.com. Scott, what article is coming out this weekend that they should stay tuned for?
They should stay tuned for my props.
Okay,
Stay tuned for that.
Speaking of Underdog, if you sign up with promo code Game Day, you can get up to $100 first deposit match. Also, go to thegameday.com/promotions for any other promotions if you're into betting, not just DFS. But hey, Scott, thanks for coming on. That was sick.
I will always enjoy being on with you guys.
I love you, man. I appreciate
you,
it.
Scott.
Also, as a reminder, tonight there will be a fantasy start sit at 5 p.m. So if you want to tune into that, make sure to do so. And then on Sunday, also the watch along and pregame show. We start at 12 o'clock. We do a little bit of a pregame show, and then we do the 1 o'clock games all the way to the 4 p.m. games. Come hang out with us. We'll have some fun and talk some shit. Maybe we'll even get the King back into the office for some football. So
Anytime.
all right. Well, hey, we'll see you next time.
I got your back.
I got your back. One more time.
Who's got your back?
I got your back.
There we go.
All right. We'll see you next time.